Danny McCue of Anton Community Newspapers, and you're watching Insight Nassau. On this evening's program, we're going to talk about politics from a kind of different perspective. I'm joined by the president of the Fiesta Net Company, Benjamin Ellsworm, known to more of you probably as the former town supervisor of the town of North Hempstead, and a almost victorious candidate in the county executive race in 1993, and three-term assemblyman Michael Balboni from the 17th Assembly District. And the reason I have you two gentlemen on is you're both very personal kinds of campaigners. A lot of that go out and shake hands and knock on doors and give people teddy bears. And, but we're in a different kind of age now. We're in the age of computers and the internet. And I kind of want to contrast the things that you guys have done, the way you've integrated computers into the campaigns and into past and perhaps future campaigns, and what you think of this burgeoning of the internet in politics. And I guess, Ben, in North Hempstead, you came out, you were the Democratic insurgent candidate, and one of the things that you did, and I just mentioned it, was those teddy bears given to senior citizens at like Bar Beach and places like that. Now tell me, why did you do that? What were you trying to do?
Well, they got affectionately known as Ben Bears, and what happened was in our business, in the private sector, I had overbought an awful lot of teddy bears for an item that was not as successful as the campaign that we had when we used the bears. And it was an entree for me to really go as an unknown out to campaign. And when you brought these beautiful teddy bears into the senior citizen groups, or we were at a street fair, you'd bring them in and you hand them out, you'd immediately have a crowd around you. People wanted one of the bears, and it was a nice way to break the ice and get to talk about issues and to get children involved. And it was a heck of a lot of fun, and it certainly had an impact, much beyond that I expected.
Do you think the general public kind of understands? We see like the television advertisements, televised debates of the candidates, but do you think the public really understands the importance of sort of this retail politicking?
I think that the debates right now, the emphasis on the media, I think it's very misplaced. Everyone says mail, mail, mail. I don't think there's any substitution for getting out there and knocking on a door, shaking somebody's hand, looking them in the eye, making the effort to try and go into their neighborhood and say hello to them personally in their own environment. I think that, frankly, the News 12 debates,
right.
It's really nice to go out there and practice the debate, but if your parents watch it, they double the viewership. It's right. Only the insiders, the people who know you personally, who really watch those things.
And I think it extends beyond just the local elections. I think one of the things that I admired about the Clinton-Gore campaign the first time around, and when Clinton was coming in as virtual unknown nationally after coming out of the primaries, is that the first thing that he and Gore did after the Democratic convention was to take a bus tour and to go out through the Midwest and into the South, areas that they had to carry and touch as many people as they could. And I think that had an impact, because when you call people names and you come after them in a campaign, if you've met that person and you've touched them in some way, all of a sudden the name calling and all the accusations don't hit as hard. Just that personal touch, even on the presidential level.
Now, where did you actually learn how to campaign? Would you say that you were an extroverted person before you got into politics?
Oh, I'm still introverted. I'm very shy.
Come on to your show, will you?
But the fact is that this really goes back, and you give the guy credit, is Joe Margiotta, who was the former Republican chairman. He believed in shoe leather. He said, you walk, you win. And that was our game plan from very, very beginning when I was successful, was to go out into areas that you normally wouldn't carry and to touch as many people as you could, because you knew that they were going to send out negative literature about you. And making that personal connection, I think, helped, and it certainly was evident in our elections.
Now, Michael, I understand that you were out walking recently. It might have been in Mineola, and your campaign manager actually had to go look for you because you were invited in to watch a baseball game?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem of walking. To get a couple of blocks in an afternoon is hard.
Right.
First of all, I've been blessed with a great district and with people who are just terrific. And when you go, and this is about the fourth or fifth time I've walked certain districts. I haven't hit all of them. I haven't hit all 95 election districts, but we've come close every year. And so you get to know people after a while. Oh, it's that time of year. Here you are. Come on back. Come on in. I have sat down for a plate of pasta on occasion. Sat down at least for a cup of coffee, and it's really nice to have that kind of time. You can't spend time like that with everybody. You get nothing done.
Right.
But the people who are home, they invite you in, and it's very, very important.
Give me a sense of when you walk a district. I mean, how many people do you have with you? What's the strategy? I should explain to the viewers that an assembly district, a town, it's kind of a small unit, and generally you could handle walking an entire
It's 120,000 versus the Senate district, which is 250,000, versus the town of Northampton, which is like 225,000.
That's right.
As you get larger numbers, it's harder to get into the bigger districts, obviously, except for Fred Parola.
Right.
He seems to, even though he's county controller, he's still walking everything.
Well, his family has a shoe business, so he can have as many pairs of shoes as he wants to keep going.
The best way I found to walk is that if you send in a little postcard ahead of time, that says, someone Mike Balboni's going to be in your neighborhood, and he's going to be in these dates, and of course you got to try and make that date. Right. Then when you walk and you see people, you go in and you have 2 or 3 people with you. They bring in an election district book that has everybody's name, and you write down little things that the comments they make. You have a little piece of literature for them, maybe a giveaway of a magnet type of thing so they can remember you. And then if you have really good conversations, or any conversations with people, that night you call them and say, thanks for taking the time. And then you send in a mailing later on that says, you asked me about this question on this date, here's your answer.
Right. So you're taking down all that information on an index card, basically.
Right. Actually, we work off the election district book.
Right.
If you go in and you do that, people really don't care about politics. We care because we're in the business, but for the most part, people just do not care. If you do that kind of a walk, you'll get a 90% recognition. Now, it may not last for very long, but at least the people remember that you were there and you took a time. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of time and effort on behalf of the campaign workers.
But it pays off. And if you go and look at the numbers on election night, the areas that you walked personally, you will see the numbers better than you would ever imagine. There's definitely a correlation between walking and touching those people and talking with them and not going into a district.